Do a little video of what Sam did yesterday. Yesterday being day one of his Pacific Crest Trail hike. And today is day two. I think today his goal is to reach the terminus. I have a picture of the terminus here. This is actually the monument sitting just on the U.S. side of the U.S.-Canada border. This is one of the markers that were put up somewhere between 1901 and 1907 when they went through and resurveyed the US Canada border. They went through and put up these cast iron markers. And one side it says USA right there. You can't see it, but the side says Canada. And there's a plate either on this side or the other side that has the number 78 on it. This was the 78th marker from the Strait of Georgia that they put up. So this is the terminus, and it sits facing, right now we're looking west. And if you look back here in the trees, you can see where there's a cut where they keep it clear 20 foot wide all along the border. And you can see that going all the way through the trees here up into this notch right here, probably a mile or so away. They actually go through every 6 years. Part of the Border Commission Charter that was put together in 1925 was a mandate that they go through every 6 years, or there's a crew that's constantly going through, but they have to hit every spot at least once every 6 years to make sure that it remains unobstructed and make sure that everybody is building things and putting things on the correct side of the border. You're not building buildings that cross it, and you're supposed to keep out of this region that's 10 miles on either side of the border. Anyway, but that's a subject for another day. Let's look at what Sam did yesterday. This is Hart's Pass here. That's where he started. This is where he camped last night based on the coordinates that I got from Sherry. And this is the US-Canada border, this line across here. Let's look at some of the profiles. What he hiked yesterday. Let's see, it'd be this profile here. Elevation profile. So this is what he would have done. Okay, so about right here, this profile is longer than he hiked yesterday. About right here is Hart's Pass, and then I've got to do this in various section lines based upon the KLM files that you can get from the PCT website. But this doesn't quite make it. You can see as I move it along here, you can see there's a red arrow that will go along up here. And so let's just mark out what he did yesterday. So the elevations, the average slope, if you look at here where my arrow is, the average slope was 78% on the upgrades and 7.8% on the upgrades and 6.5% on the ground, the downgrades. These maximum slope numbers don't mean much, and it has to do with the fact that they didn't perfectly lay out this line on top of the trail. So the line kind of meanders and gets to some stuff that's actually steeper than what he experiences on the trail. But this is interesting numbers. His total elevation gain yesterday was about 3,332 feet, and then he went down 2,017 feet. And actually, this is backwards, I just realized. This is as if he was hiking backwards from where he is actually hiking. So he actually went up 2,017 feet and down 3,332 feet. As you can see by the plot here, that he started out at a point that's higher than he ended up. So, and while we're here, we'll just look at the elevation gains that he will be doing today. You'll notice again, if we mark this out, Lots of little spiky stuff here today, and that makes for rough hiking. The fact that you keep going downhill and then have to make it up again, boom, 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 all the way across. Let's look at what he's got to do today. Keep this back in line. This will be today's hike. Okay, so again, look for the arrow up here. It's going by. You can see that this is up about where he camped last night, and it's much smoother today, going up and over and up to the terminus. This plot actually goes to the highway up in Canada, so he actually doesn't have to do this section of the hike. He is just going to the terminus right here, and that's where he'll turn around and go back. There's the U.S.-Canada border. So if we mark this out, he is going to be going about 3,551 feet uphill and a total of 4,506 feet downhill. So the uphill is actually summed together. So they measured, like, for example, this is about 1,500 feet here, and they take that and then they add this distance here, and then they add this distance here, and that's how they get the upgrade. And then the downgrade would be the sum of this distance here, plus this distance here, plus this distance here. So it's not the total amount of up and down that he did. It's or measuring in kind of a summation way, the average or whatever. It's the actual total of how much he goes up and down. So anyway, but today his average downslope is going to be 8.5, and the upslope he's going to experience is about 3 degrees. So today is going to be a much easier day than yesterday was. So he should have no problems making it to the terminus. This is about a 14 and a half mile hike today, and yesterday he did about 15 miles. So, yeah. So let's actually look at the trail and kind of do a flyover of the trail that he did yesterday. This is Hart's Pass, and somewhere it says Hart's. There it is, says Hart's Pass. You'll notice. I don't know if he was dropped off there and picked up the trail there, or if they actually were able to get up this road to a parking lot that is located right here, where a lot of people are dropped off. If they could get up here, I suspect they did the drop off up here. The red line is the Pacific Crest Trail. These white dots that you can see on here, zoom out a little bit. So these white dots you see here are every half a mile. Give you a little bit of scale of what's going on here. But you'll notice from this parking lot here, there is a trail that takes you down to the Pacific Crest Trail where it joins on right there. So that's where he would have hiked yesterday. You can see looks like a trace of a trail down here too. So maybe that's an old one. Doesn't look as well maintained. But anyway, let's do a flyover. Let's tilt this down to get a little bit of perspective and of what he did. So yeah, giving this kind of a 3D effect, as you can see there from the way the mountains are laid out. But yeah, let's follow along where I went yesterday. Keep in mind that every white dot is half a mile. So, this little twist here. Anywhere there's switchbacks, of course, is steeper areas. So there's where he camped last night, and It makes sense because if you notice, this is kind of flat right here. It's a little plateau. But if you look ahead of what he's got to do now today as he continues, it's pretty steep on the side, so probably no good camping spots. And if you look back where he came from, again, the side of the mountain, he's clinging to the side of the mountain, and that was pretty much all the way back through the switchbacks and everything. Remember, the switchbacks indicate steeper areas, so it makes sense that he would have been targeting a place to camp right here where it's a little bit of a plateau. Let's continue on where he's going to be hiking today. Flip this around. There we go. Switchbacks there. And to the U.S.-Canada border, which is this right here. So, yeah, all those markers are right here. These lines, the reason there's three lines here is one of these is the county line, one of these is the state line, one of these is the national boundary. Something, of course, that's kind of interesting, maybe since Sam was a county councilman all those years. This is actually the border between Okanogan County and Whatcom County. So up here is Whatcom County. Down here is Okanogan County. And he actually crossed the border between Whatcom County and Okanogan County a number of times. So this part of the trail would have been in Whatcom County. And he actually kind of walked along the border a lot of the way between Whatcom County and Okanogan County. Okay, and back to Hart's Pass. This is where he started, and since we're here, we'll look at the path he's going to take down to Rainy Pass, which is where he'll get his first resupply. And let's move that out here, get a little closer. But yeah, so again, here's Hart's Pass. So once he gets to the PCT, of course, he'll be backtracking along this trail here, and he'll pick things back up at Hart's Pass and continue down trail, which he at that point will not have seen before. So let's follow the trail down to Rainy Pass. Let's see. So going the right way here. We'll let's get things turned a little bit so they're easier to see. Lots of switchbacks going down there. Let the line catch up. Yeah, it's funny how Google Earth does these lines. The processor is trying to keep up with my movement as I move over Google Earth. So sometimes they end up in the air. When I stop to let the processor catch up, it actually places them back on the ground. Whoop. And there we are to Highway 20. Um, get ourselves oriented here. So now looking this way, it's straight south and north. So got everything lined up by the compass. I think the resupply point will be the Cutthroat Pass Trailhead, which is a large parking lot that's up off of Highway 20 a little ways. There's a sign here that says Cutthroat Pass Trailhead, and drive back in here and not actually be on Highway 20. So, so there it is. I think I'll stop recording there. Oh, except for to make one comment. If you look closely at these dots, there's actually numbers associated with them. You can't see them because they're black. I don't know how to change that. But if I click on it, you can see them how many miles it is. So 2,594. This is how many miles it is to the Mexican border along the trail. Hart's Pass is at 2,641 miles. So to here is about 45 miles from Hart's Pass. So I would guess about 3 days after he gets back to Hart's Pass, he'll get down here to Rainy Pass. The profile to get here is mostly downhill, but it's pretty rough terrain.